Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's episode of Lewis Presents. I'm here off Bryant Street in Stratford, E15, here in the heart of the East End of London. And what's behind me, what you can see there, is the archway to the old hospital that used to be here. It was known as Queen Mary's Hospital. It was founded in 1861 by a local doctor called William Elliot, and it was on the Romford Road, and it was known as the West Ham, Stratford and South Essex Dispensary. But it was down here, Bryant Street, in 1890 that the hospital started to take shape. In 1895 it was known as West Ham Hospital, and it had 2 units with 60 beds. And the hospital started to grow, started to flourish. In 1902 they introduced an X-ray department. In 1903 electric lighting was installed. And then, by the outbreak of World War I, this became a major hospital for the wounded men from the Western Front. Wounded men started coming here in September 1914, and there was 50 beds put aside for the wounded. Just over the road behind me in the Bryant Street Community Centre was known as the Bryant Street Sunday School, and there were wounded men in there and they were tended to. And there's a plaque in there still today saying that they were tended to there from 1914 to 1919. Queen Mary and King George V visited this hospital during World War I. In 1917 it gained a royal charter and it became known as Queen Mary's Hospital for the East End. In 1921 Queen Mary visited here and came right through that arch in a car, and she opened up a children's convalescence unit. During the Second World War this hospital did not escape the attention of the Luftwaffe, and in September 1940 it took a direct hit and 8 people were killed, 2 nurses and 6 patients. In 1945, Queen Mary visited here again, visiting the injured from the bombing that was happening in London with the V1 and V2 rockets. In 1948, this hospital became part of the National Health Service. By 1954, this hospital had 128 beds, maternity and general. It had an A&E department, X-ray department, children's unit and maternity unit. But by 1979, it had been scaled down to just 106 beds. It was getting ready for closure. And in May 1983, along with East Ham Memorial Hospital, the hospital was closed down. A year later, in 1984, the whole site was demolished. At the time then, in the early 80s, Newham had 6 hospitals, now it only has 1. And everything that used to be here was transferred to the new hospital at Glen Road, Plaistow, known as Newham General. But this hospital was quite special to me, because I was born here in September 1964. My parents at the time were living in Plaistow, and my nan and my grandfather worked at this hospital. I've also found out recently in September 1965 the boxer Lennox Lewis was born here also. But sadly all that remains of the local of that old hospital is the archway you see behind me. It was kept on as a memorial because it was a memorial to the men that died during World War I. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Lewis Presents. It was entitled Queen Mary's. Thanks for watching.